Guy Code with Rena Oswald.
Welcome to another episode of The Guy Code. Now, on this episode, we're going to be talking about Kenyan female nature. For those of you who don't know what female nature is, we have covered that term as well as others in the last episodes. You can go and check them out, part 1 to part 4. So, in this episode, we're just going to be talking about what are the character traits, habits of Kenyan females. For those who are dating them, it will make a lot of sense to bring light to a couple of issues. And for those who don't know, maybe Kenyan women, for the international people, these are some of the things that you should expect in case you run into them, and you will confirm. So this is just my opinion, and I'll just highlight 7 points from my observations, as well as I will give a couple of stories to demonstrate and illustrate. So on to the first one. The first one is that Kenyan women, especially the ones living in the urban areas, the cities are 3: Nairobi, the capital, Mombasa, and Kisumu. Women around those urban areas who are very well educated, they're career minded, they will definitely be hypergamous. Why? Because in this developing country, everyone wants to get ahead, especially the women. And there has been a lot of initiatives to uplift the girl child done by the Kenyan government as well as the UN. So this has definitely led to many women being empowered as far as education and knowledge. So with this knowledge, they really want to get ahead in life, and they will definitely partner with someone who will get them ahead in life. So that will cause hypergamy. So for my Kenyan brothers, you will definitely realize this if you have any slightest experience in dating a Kenyan woman, especially a Nairobi one. They definitely want to know what value you will add to them. Okay, they just don't go out with anyone who will not really help them in any which way. So you have to have your stuff together, definitely. So my Kenyan brothers will definitely take note of this and realize that this is very true. Most of them, actually, they're traditional women. Some of them are actually still hypergamous, because you realize that due to education and social the social environment, the urban people go back to rural areas, and even people in rural areas want the kind of lifestyle they see in the urban areas. So any man who will provide that lifestyle will be a top pick for them. So expect that they are very hypergamous. The second thing is that they know how to engage their femininity. These Kenyan women know how to engage their femininity. Why? It starts from their upbringing. In Kenyan upbringing, just like any other African society, the gender roles are very well articulated and listed, that girls do this, boys do this. From that kind of upbringing, women know that there are a couple of things that they are supposed to do that will appease the society, and give them the image of a well-mannered woman in the African society and in our community. And they know these attributes and traits will attract the kind of men that who want this kind of what we call wife material. So they will act that way for a while when it works for them, and to get exactly what they want. So expect that they know how to turn on the charm. They know how to boost your ego, let you lead once in a while, because they know this is the image of wife material. That is a common term around that actually just means, that you have the kind of attributes that society dictates a woman of honor has. So that's number two. They know how to engage their femininity. So anyone who wants very feminine women, Kenyan women are very feminine, and it's actually across the continent. You will realize that. Number three, image means a lot before society. Now, Kenyan society, just like as far as it starts from the African uh, societies, that where there's a proverb that says that it takes a village to raise a child. So what this really means is that if that child turns out to have a bad character or turns out to be an evil person in society, it reflects badly on the community, not only on the family that raised the child. So image means a lot, okay? So that's why they want to be partnered with someone that portrays success. You have to portray success because this image means a lot to them, okay? And it's just generally ignored. I think this is one thing that is not only for Kenyan women, but just any Kenyan or even in African, actually even all over the world, that are third world countries that have these conservative cultures, unlike the first world, where you can find very rich people who walk around in sweatpants and sandals and all that. Here in this kind of community, it's very rare. So if you are a successful person, you must ooze success. So if you are dating a Kenyan woman or a Nairobi woman, you have to look success. You have to look like you have your stuff together, because this is very important. Because if she chooses someone who doesn't look like they have their stuff together, it will reflect poorly on her, which is very very bad, very bad for them. So at this point, I would say like the top 4 or 5 things that Kenyan women look for. I'll list them from number 1, 2, or 5. I think 1, 2, yeah, 6, or yeah, 4, 4, 5. The first one, if you want to attract a Kenyan woman, from my experience, this is my opinion, the first thing you need is high status in society. I'll say high status because even traditionally in our communities, the people before capitalism came and money was a thing, the high status people in society were the ones who could be polygamous, which will marry a couple of wives, because maybe you are a king, or maybe you are just someone very high profile in society, and you had the ability, to get all the kind of women you want. So it has, that kind of mentality has actually come through all through to the 21st century to right now. So if you're a high status person in society, especially one of the most common high status people in the Kenyan environment is the politicians, the members of parliament, the governors. Anyone who is actually a high ranking civil servant is one of the actually constitutes most of the high status people in society. So if you're high status, that means one, that you'll be a top pick. The second, if you're rich, money. Money definitely is the second point. If you're just rich, if you don't have the influence and the power, but you have the resources, definitely you'll be a second pick. The third is looks, but looks is only important probably for a certain amount of time and is very subjective from person to person. So look actually could be just around the time that she wants to be in her prime, maybe from the 18 to 25 or some up to 30, depends on the kind of upbringing she had. So status, money, looks, last is personality. I'll say last is personality because if you have a good personality, generally in the Kenyan environment, in the Kenyan culture, most people are friendly and non-confrontational too. So to find someone who has a good personality is not really a rare thing. Most people are friendly, so most of our friends are like that, and maybe she's like that. So the fact that you have a good personality won't really be a big factor. Unlike first world countries, these communities where most people are just very friendly. Normally they're nice. They're raised to be that way, and having a good personality isn't really a rare thing. So that's the list I have put together. The first thing is status, second is money, third is looks, and fourth is personality. But this is just my opinion from my experience. Now, the fourth one is, in Kenyan society, women hit the wall at around 30, but some even start at 25. So hitting the wall actually starts around 30, like many first world countries, but there's some who actually take it lower to 25. The reason it's 25 is that I think by the time you're 25, according to even our Kenyan education system, most of us, unless you're doing a very serious course or you're doing your masters or something like that, you've already done your school by 22, 23. So by 25, 2 years, you definitely should have found a mate and started settling down. And many of the Kenyan women I've engaged with want to be married by 25. I'll say a story of one who actually said that she's already agreed with her mother that how dowry payment, dowry is the bride price that is very common in African cultures. If you want to get a bride, you have to pay the family bride price. So she has already agreed with her mother that her dowry payment will be 25,000 US dollars, which is 2.5 million Kenya shillings, non-negotiable. And she hopes that will happen before she turns 30. So that's very serious. This is how seriously it's taken. Finding a mate who is well established to take her off the market by 25, and this is not just one, there's a couple of people who are like that. So if you're planning to date a Kenyan woman, expect such things, that by the time, if she's above 25, she will definitely be dating, looking to marriage. Very few might not, there are some who might not, but I would say the majority actually are looking to settle down by the time they turn 25, around 30. So keep that in mind. And I think the ones who probably were not able to find a mate or found one and things happen, these are the ones who actually end up being single moms, because in the pursuit of trying to tie a man down, there's that mentality of like, let me just give him a kid and trap him, finding out that this man isn't the kind to take that kind of responsibility. That trap backfired and she left as a single mom. So I think you'll find out many single moms in Nairobi right now, especially in this year. For the past 3 to 4 years, the number has really been increasing, and I think statistically Nairobi has the biggest amount of single mothers in the East and Central African region. So it's quite a serious situation. Number 5 is that they do test, but not the kind of shit test that pickup artists usually talk about. These tests are more subtle. From my experience is that the test will be, it's a push and pull. They're very good at flirting. Yeah, they will flirt with you. They will make you think they're very interested in you, because, as I said in point number 2, that they know their femininity. They're very feminine, so they might try and flirt a little bit, then they pull back to see if you pursue or over pursue. I would say that it's very important to maintain frame, especially in these points, because you know that women are women and they're always very emotional. So it will go through a whole cycle that they will push. Or today they might be very high interest to you, tomorrow not really, maybe tomorrow, the other day maybe it will increase a little bit. So you will get some flaky behavior, but don't really be fazed by it. It's very important that you stay in your frame, and just don't be moved, because if you end up over pursuing, it's definitely a huge turn off from my experience. So as far as the tests, they are not as aggressive. They wouldn't really taunt you I've not experienced that. I've not seen people who are taunted, but they won't really taunt you. But they will definitely push and pull. Normal change interest levels, and it's very important that you maintain frame and stick to what you know. Number 6 is family is very important to them for society. So just like any other conservative, culture, is family is a very huge factor. So if the family accepts you, it's a huge sign that you're accepted to to probably take the relationship to another level, maybe marriage if you're purple pill, but that's just if that's what you're looking for. So family image is important, which reflects to society image. It goes back to society image, that how she's seen among her community is very important, in that she'll be seen as an honorable woman if she finds a mate who the society will accept and approve of. Number 7 is an alpha male. To them is a person who can take care of himself and his loved ones, and this is the kind of man that they will stick out with through a lot of stuff. So if you're an alpha male, you can really take care of yourself, take care of the kind of responsibility she expects you to cover, then she will definitely stick by you through a lot. The truth is, she won't mind sharing you, because since the polygamy is actually very legal in Kenya, she might, in the back of her mind, she might really expect that this man will definitely have other women, and even though he does, I don't mind, because he's able to cover the kind of things that I need. So that's just a couple of things of Kenyan female nature that you get to know. So from my experience, I'll bring up more, just to clarify and give out different techniques on handling different attributes. So here's my list, guys, my opinion from my experience, and hope to discuss a few other issues on the next episodes. See you guys.